Hello. I hope everybody's having a good Thursday. I know I am. But I had some things that I wanted to talk about real quick. So I said, let me jump on here. Okay. Because a lot of times I'll be in here reading my articles and stuff, and so much stuff will be coming to me, and I'll just start talking. And this is time for me to be recording. That happens all the time. But okay, so this is what I want to say. Okay, if you see the article that I have up here, it says the judge grants freedom request for last person seen with missing United States student. I'm not going to try to pronounce her name, but this is a missing U.S. female student, and she went missing in the Dominican Republic. Now, this article is mainly talking about how these are the parents. Her parents want her to be declared unalived. And this is more for personal reasons that they want this to happen because she hasn't been found yet. Let me scroll down. If you don't know, the backstory is that on March 3rd, this missing female student went to Punta Cana. I guess that's how you say that. That's in the Dominican Republic. She traveled there with five other female students from the University of Pittsburgh. So she went there with a group of friends. Okay. According to the person who last saw her, he said that he first met her in a hotel. He was there with a friend, and she was there with her group. So it was five women and two men. And they all went out to a bar. I just find it interesting how a lot of these cases, when somebody's going missing or something done happen, alcohol seems to always be involved. Is that all college students do? When they go abroad and or when they're in college, they drink. I mean, because that seems like that's the go-to when you're gone. If you're on vacation, yeah, you have fun, but safety and security should be priority. Not saying that you can't drink or you shouldn't drink, but safety and security should be priority. And we are talking about college students here, and I'm gonna leave it at that. So they met each other. They went to a bar, and according to the last person that saw this U.S. female student alive, he said that someone suggested that they go to the beach. So they've been drinking, and now somebody's suggesting that they go near water. I guess because that's smart. Um, so they went to the beach. In the early hours of March 6th, she was seen on surveillance footage drinking with the women she was with and the two men. She's wearing a white cover up as she talks to her friends. The last person who seen her alive was seen several feet away, bent over and stumbling on the lawn outside the bar. So that would say to me, if I see somebody stumbling, this person is more than likely intoxicated, drunk. For some reason, their equilibrium is off. They don't have their bearings about them. That's what I would be saying. if I saw this. Then at 4:15 a.m., so this is what I don't understand, okay? Because this is the photo here. Let me enlarge this so y'all can see. This is what I don't understand. It says in the early hours of March 6th. This is her seen on surveillance. And it says at 4:15 a.m. So are we speaking 4 a.m. on March 6th? Or are we speaking 4:15 a.m. on March 7th? I'm going to assume, based on how this article is written, that they're talking about 4:15 on March 6th. Because it says in the early hours of March 6th, this female student was seen on surveillance footage drinking with women and the men. So at 4:15 in the morning, or in the early morning of March 6th, they're seen drinking. I'm going to assume at 4:15 a.m., this is still March 6th. Because it says a surveillance camera captured the group, including the missing student, entering the beach. That's this picture. This is the picture here. It says the screenshot is believed to be from the last known video of missing U.S. college student, I can't pronounce her name, among a group of friends before she disappeared on March 6th. So I'm going to assume that 4:15 a.m., when this photo is taken, it's on March 6th. Okay, that's early in the morning to be drinking, but nonetheless, just before 5 a.m., surveillance footage shows 5 women and 1 man leaving the beach. 2 sources close to the investigation told CNN. But the missing student was not among them. So listen to this. Before she went missing, it was 5 women and 2 men. They all went drinking. Somebody suggested that they go to the beach. They had already been drinking, but they're going to go to the water, because that makes a lot of sense, I guess, to people to drink and go swimming or go to the beach. Doesn't mean you have to go in the water, but a lot of times they do. They get in the water. Now at 4:15, she's seen on camera here. They're going into the beach. 45 minutes later, though, the women are coming back with 1 man. But the student who went missing, she's not among the group anymore. And there's only 1 man. Remember, before it was 2. So there's a man missing. There's a man missing and her at 5 a.m. That's what we know so far. The man that's missing, according to this article, is the last person who saw her alive. So we know he was with her before she went missing. The other friends are nowhere around, and neither is his friend. And I want to say that, in my opinion, this is poor judgment on behalf of the groups, because the groups came together, and in my opinion, if safety and security is first, it should remain that way the entire trip. Now, I'm not sure most college students think this way, but when you're with friends, you should remain with friends throughout the trip. You should remain with somebody. Somebody should have contact with you. Somebody should see you. Somebody should be around or be able to get in contact with you at all times. No matter if you want to talk in private with somebody, be in private with somebody, nonetheless, you can do all of that, still enjoy yourself, and somebody still have access to you the entire time. If you go off in a space with somebody by yourself, you just meeting there, you don't know this person, that's even more reason for you to stay in contact with somebody, especially if you've been drinking. Especially if you've been drinking. Somebody should be texting. Somebody should be calling the phone. If they don't hear from you after a certain time period, if they haven't seen you after a certain time period, or while you're gone, text the phone, call the phone. At some point, let's just say you've been texting or calling this person within the hour, for an hour. This person hasn't contacted you back one time. I feel like, in my opinion, an appropriate judgment call needs to be made here by one of the friends or all of the friends. Because y'all came there as a group and you want to leave as a group, I'm sure. Nobody expects things to go wrong on a trip. Of course not. But it should be something in the back of the mind anyway. In case this happens, if something happens, you all should be able to get in contact with each other. And we all know that drinking obscures judgment. You don't think as clearly when you're drinking. Some people are worse than others. So nobody during this time frame that the friend was missing called her phone, text her phone to check on her at all. That's interesting. But the one person who was with her is giving information that sounds plausible, but I still have questions about it. Okay? Because she's seen with this person at 4 a.m, but then after 5 a.m, she's no longer seen with this person. This person is accounted for, but she's not. And my question is, why wouldn't anybody's alarm bells be going off if the man in this situation, the male in this situation, I should say, is able to get his way back to the room, go to sleep and everything. And this young lady that he was with is missing now. What would have happened that would have made her separate from him instead of going back with him if she was with him before the group separated? And of course, this is speculation. People could say anything. But he didn't give a reason for why she would. The only thing that he said is that they went into the water and they were hit by an intense wave that swept them out to sea. He said he attempted to, or he had to jostle with the wave to help her because she got tired of swimming. She got tired of swimming. She got tired of swimming. He said it took him a long time to get her out the water. It was difficult. He said he was trained as a lifeguard. That's a red flag to me. That's a red flag to me. He was trained as a lifeguard, but worked at pools, not at the beach. So if you're trained as a lifeguard, you should know better than to go in the water after drinking. Am I wrong? Is this not something that lifeguards know? I'm not a lifeguard. But I'm wondering if lifeguards are supposed to know that you don't allow people who have been drinking to go into the water. I'm pretty sure, and I'm not a lifeguard, that they wouldn't allow that. So this is already poor judgment on somebody who was trained as a lifeguard. Because this is what he said. He got in the water after he'd been drinking it and allowed somebody else to get in the water with him that he knew was drinking. You're a lifeguard, but you getting in the water drunk and allowing somebody else who's been drinking to get in the water. You don't need to be a lifeguard, in my opinion. Something's wrong here. I'm questioning him already. He said he was trying to get her to breathe the whole time. But that didn't allow him to breathe at all. And he swallowed a lot of water. He said he could have lost consciousness several times. When he finally reached the ground on the beach, he held her in front of him. So I noticed he's talking a lot about himself. He's not seeming very in the moment with the fact that somebody he was with is missing. It's not like an urgent need or an urgent emergency that's going on. That's how I would be if somebody was with me. I knew this person was with me. And then she's no longer with me. Something would be ringing in my head like, oh my gosh, what could have happened? He seems to be talking a lot about himself. The concern seems to be more about himself and what he was dealing with, not her. Then he says he last saw her when she was walking in knee-deep water. Now here again, his judgment. is in question with me. 1 as an adult, 2 as a lifeguard. Maybe it should be 1 as a lifeguard, 2 as an adult. You just said how trying it was getting her out of the water because of that wave that hit. How you could barely breathe. And all this other stuff. And saying that she didn't want to swim. Like she got tired of swimming. Why in the world? I don't understand his thought process. And mind you, he was drinking at the time too. He had been drinking. So they're both under impaired judgment. But if y'all just got out of the water and it was such an intense situation, you wouldn't say anything to her about going back to the water. You said the last time you saw her, she was walking in knee-deep water. But she was tired of swimming. She was tired of swimming after getting hit by this intense wave. But then after y'all come out the water, you see her walking in knee-deep water again. He said the last time he saw her, he asked if she was okay. Yeah, I'm having trouble with this. I don't believe this person. I believe that this story has missing pieces to it. I don't believe enough detail was given from his narrative because I still have questions, especially after he admitted to being a trained lifeguard. I have questions. This statement when he says, when he finally reached the ground on the beach, he held her in front of him. He said, the last time I saw her, I asked if she was okay. I didn't hear her answer because I started vomiting up all the seawater I had swallowed. So she went from you holding her in front of you to walking in knee deep water. So you was holding her in front of you. How did she go from you holding her in front of you to the last time you saw her? She was walking in knee-deep water. Hold on, y'all. Hello? What? I'm recording. I'm recording. Mm-hmm. Don't go name. I don't believe him. I don't believe this person when he says that he didn't hear her. He didn't hear her answer because he started vomiting up all the seawater he had swallowed. I don't believe that. He said after vomiting, he looked around and he didn't see anyone. He said he thought she grabbed her things and left. So when he didn't see her, supposedly after he was vomiting, after he finished vomiting, he said he looked up, he didn't see her. He looked around, he didn't see her. He thought she grabbed her stuff and left. Why didn't he make sure of that? He knew she was drinking. They both were drinking. They had just been in the water. That was kind of intense. The last time he saw her, she was walking in knee-deep water. Then he said when he looked up, he looked around, he didn't see her anymore. So you didn't go look for her? Even if you thought she had gotten her stuff and left, you didn't go look for her? He said he felt very sick and tired. Okay, so he says that he felt very sick and tired. He lay down on a beach chair and fell asleep because he couldn't go far. He said the sun and biting mosquitoes woke him up. And he went to his friend's room to get his phone. And then went to his room to sleep. That's interesting. He didn't have his phone on him. His friend had his phone. He didn't have his phone on him. That's very interesting. So if somebody was trying to get in contact with him, they wouldn't have been able to because he didn't have his phone. That's interesting. That's also dangerous. You're away from home. You are with a group, or even if you with a friend, somebody needs to be able to get in contact with you. You're abroad. Why are you leaving your phone anywhere? That's interesting to me that he left his phone. Went to the room and fell asleep. He said he was sleeping in the room, and his friend asked him if he had seen her, the missing female student. He told the friend no, that he thought she had gone to her room. His friend told him that she never returned to her room. And he said that surprised him. It surprised him, but what did he do about it? Because he was the last person to see her alive. So what did he do about it? Because this says that when she didn't return to her room, her friends searched for her before telling the authorities, as they should have. But he should have also said something to somebody. He should have said something first. Why didn't he say something first? He knew that she had been drinking, and supposedly he left her. She left him. He knew that she was drinking, and supposedly he left her. Excuse me, she left him. According to this last person who's seen her alive, he knew this lady had been drinking. He said the last time he saw her, she was walking in knee-deep water, which is weird after he supposedly just helped her get out of an intense situation in the water and said that he could barely breathe. He was trying to make sure she could breathe. You're not going to be on alarm status with her walking in the water. This story sounds fictitious to me. It sounds like there are missing pieces to the puzzle. And he didn't have his phone on him, so nobody could get in contact. What about her phone? Oh, I forgot. He said that her purse and stuff was no longer there. So he thought she had went back to the room. After he says, after I saw her walk away while she was walking in the water, I never saw her again. I don't believe this person's story. I do believe that there's further investigation that needs to happen with this person. I can understand why he was being held there because they're still doing their investigation. But um he alleged that they had him there illegally. The way they were holding him was illegal. They still have his passport in the Dominican Republic. They still have his passport. He's trying to get a new passport through the U.S. Embassy. I feel like he's still under investigation. So his freedom should be, I don't think it should be taken all the way. I think it should be restricted because he's under investigation by that country. And until he's cleared, his freedom should not be given back to him like that, where he's free to go wherever he wants to. No, because he's under investigation. He's the last person to see her alive. And there's holes in his story. I'm telling you, there's pieces of his story. I still have questions about pieces of his story. And let's start with him admitting that he is a trained lifeguard. We need to start with that. That came out of his mouth. He's a trained lifeguard, no matter whether you were trained in beach water or pool water. We need to talk about you being a trained lifeguard and your judgment to get in water after you have been drinking and knowing somebody else got in the water after drinking. This story sounds fishy. This story also has elements that I recognize from other crimes where alcohol was involved. An accident has happened with water. Nobody's around but the last person to see the victim and the victim. Nobody's around to witness anything. It happened in the wee hours in the morning. I'm going to presume that not many people were around because I'm not reading anything in here about witnesses coming forth and saying that they saw a woman walking on the beach in water. I'm not hearing that. I'm not reading that either. So that leads me to believe that they were the only two around. See, what happens is when a situation like this happens, where an accident happens after alcohol has been involved, and the only people around or the two people involved, that's a type of isolation where if a crime happens, nobody would ever be able to bear witness except for the two people there. If one of the people goes missing, the only person who can give the account is the person who's still available to do so. I feel like there are holes in this person's story. This person being, what is his name? Hold on. His name is Joshua Rib, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. That is his name. He's still being detained. Right now, not detained, but he's not allowed to leave. As of right now, he's not allowed to leave the country. Why? Because he's still under investigation by them. As being the last person that seen this young woman alive, he's still under investigation. He doesn't like that. He's trying to leave, but that's no different than when you in the US. You can get stuck. You can't go anywhere if you under investigation as the last person seeing someone alive before they went missing. He's going back to court. He has a court hearing March 28th. But it's believed that he's not required to appear in person. So they're going to do this online. I don't think that's a good idea, but whatever. They could do this online. I don't care. Nobody say there are details to this person's story that he's leaving out. He's leaving out. The way he has chosen to give his account is questionable to me, especially as an admitted lifeguard. His actions are questionable. I don't know, y'all. I do not believe everything that this person. I don't believe everything that this person has given to authorities so far. I do feel like he's holding back on details, and I'm still questioning his judgment. That doesn't mean that he's guilty, because only a judge, a jury can decide that. but his actions are questionable to me, especially as an adult. I'm telling y'all, something wrong here. But we're gonna move on from this story because I'm kind of upset. But I don't believe this person. I do not believe him. I believe he's leaving out details of the story. This is an ongoing investigation. So whatever needs to come out, it will come out. And even if an injustice has been done and they don't get what they need as law enforcement, that doesn't mean he's not going to face justice at some point. And I'm not saying he did anything, but what I am saying is if he did, he going to face the consequences for it, whether we know about it or not. That's what I'm going to say. So here we are again, back in the news. Let me see. I'm going to talk on this briefly because this is still upsetting. Let me see. Okay. Because this is still an issue. It says feds accuse a Minnesota state senator of soliciting a minor for sex. I don't understand how in this country we are not given these types of crimes priority. This has been a problem since I was a child. And this shit is still going on to this day. Well, you got grown ass adults still soliciting sex from minors. And no, you can't just blame it on low life anymore. That shit out the window at this point. Because it's not just low life. This is a senator. Somebody in Congress. As if I didn't say this before, that Congress members are involved in a lot of this shit, but now you know for sure they are. Where, excuse me, this senator was communicating with the undercover law enforcement officer and didn't know it. Why? Because he thought that he was speaking to a 17-year-old child that he knew was 17 years old. And still kept asking for pictures and shit to prove she's real. Even went so far as to gather money and an unused condom. When police got him, that's what they found. When they got him, that's what they found on him. He had cash on him and an unopened condom. And was going to meet with this 17-year-old girl that he didn't know was an undercover law enforcement officer. His name is Justin Eichhorn. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. A Minnesota resident. Also a Minnesota senator. Text messages from his phone number saying that, hey, so-and-so being the 17-year-old girl he thinks he's speaking to. I saw your post. And blank chance you are still available tonight. What's a guy got to do to get with the hottest girl online tonight? Not only is this an adult who thinks he's talking to a child, but this is an adult that's married with kids of his own. If anything, that needs to be taken into consideration. You got kids of your own. And you're allegedly soliciting sex from a 17-year-old child. The affidavit states that after again inquiring about the undercover officer's age, the suspect wrote, "Okay, will you send me a naughty picture of you to show me you're real?" I don't understand. I do understand, but I don't understand why this 40-year-old senator from Minnesota is soliciting this type of behavior from a 17-year-old girl that he thinks is speaking to him. And he has a wife. So it's all about the show, I guess. It's all about the show. It's all about the show. It's all about the presentation. It's got to be. If you doing stuff like this behind your wife's back. I wonder how many more of people like this are going to have to go down before people are like, we need to impose harsher sanctions on pedophiles. Period. I feel like the sanctions that we currently give to these pedophiles are nothing, because we still have them. All these years later, they still out here moving like they've been doing for years. Online access, social media just made it 10 times worse. Why are people not blowing up about this shit? I don't understand. Pedophilia is not a joke. It's nastiness. It's disgraceful. And you cannot fix that shit. There is a way for you to fix it. But y'all don't want to go that route. So y'all need to start imposing stronger sanctions for pedophiles to discourage them. Because the current sanctions that y'all have in the legal system don't do shit to deter these people from doing this shit. You're going to let them out after the little bit of time you give them. They're going to do it again. That's been proven over and over and over and over and over and over and over. How many adults got to go through this shit? How many children got to go through this shit? I don't know if y'all really understand that it's a lot of people out here now that are coming up against authority about children. If you're not paying attention, I suggest you start paying attention. Lawmakers, senators, all you people in government that make these policies and rules and regulations and shit, including the courts. Because you got judges out here that are doing this shit as well. The sanctions need to be stronger and harsher to deter these people to stop going after these children. Nobody's asking themselves why these grown-ass adults are going after children. Not only that, but they're married. A lot of them are married. This is disgraceful on the wife and the children. The children shouldn't have to go through this at all. This is embarrassing. So much so that the Senate is trying to get this person out of there. They're probably going to secede. The Senate is trying to get this Eichhorn person out of the Senate. He needs to be out. If he's convicted of this, if these charges stick, the jury finds him guilty. And even before then, because when you got this kind of evidence on someone, it's not going well. It's not going to go in their favor. And the more power they have, the bigger their position is in society, the harsher their punishment needs to be. Because you need to send a message. Obviously, the message has not been driven in people's heads that they're still doing this. In 2025, this is still a major issue. All these adults going after children. That is a sickness. When an adult is attracted to a child, that's not going anywhere. That person is still going to be attracted to children. So if you let them out after a couple of years or give them probation and tell them they can't be around, blah, 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 that's not going to stop the attraction. It's still going to be there. It needs more than just their reputation ruined behind this. It needs to be more than that. Because that's not stopping these people. That's not stopping these people from committing these crimes against children. And this is recent. It says Bloomington Police Department detectives communicated with the man who thought he was talking to a 17-year-old female. On March 17th, A detective arranged to meet with the male at a location near the 8300 block of Normandale Avenue in Bloomington. The male, identified as Justin David Eichhorn of Grand Rapids, Minnesota, was observed arriving in the area by a pickup truck. Eichhorn was arrested without incident outside of his vehicle by a uniformed Bloomington police officer. And it's interesting because this same senator had just introduced some bill defining Trump derangement syndrome as a mental illness. I mean, what? Is he a doctor? Did a doctor come up with this? Did medical experts come up with this Trump derangement syndrome? If it's a mental illness, shouldn't this come from the medical professionals? I just have questions. And not a senator who doesn't have a medical background to my knowledge. But whatever. Because now, shortly after this happens, this person is in trouble for soliciting sex from a minor. I want to know who y'all think I'm not going to ask that question. Anyway, I just thought I'd bring that to y'all attention since I don't hear too many people talking about it, but it needs to be talked about. Because here we are back in another situation where we have somebody in power, somebody with a public presence, being accused of crimes against a minor. Why is pedophilia not a primary concern for people? This not like no damn traffic ticket where you see people getting pulled over for doing speeding and stuff like that, where you could just write them a citation and it'd be a good day. I mean, people can go on about the rest of their day. No. This is a real problem. He's not going to be the last person, public figure, that y'all hear about being accused of crimes against children. And it's not just them that we got to focus on. It's everybody. It's everybody. Because you got pedophiles everywhere from every background. I would say that imposing stronger and harsher punishment for pedophiles will start to deter these people from committing these crimes. I'm telling you. They don't need to get 2-3 years. They need to get 20-30 years. That's what they need, 20-30 years. And like I said, pedophilia is a sickness. That is not something that you're going to be able to cure, though. It's an attraction, an adult attraction to minors. That don't go away just because you're in jail. Him being married and having kids didn't deter him. But I guess this is real shit that people deal with real shit. People are struggling to deal with real stuff now. We see that. It's been like that. People are struggling to deal with reality still. And like I said before, these are going to be the people who continue to struggle in the future as reality keep hitting them in the face. No more ignoring your reality. No more. That shit is done. Nobody's hearing that anymore. You knew what you're doing. So my question is, how many more is it going to take? How many more children are going to have to suffer? Because we didn't forget about Naziah Harris. We still waiting on that trial. How many more kids are going to have to suffer? How many more adults are going to have to get exposed? Because it's going to keep happening. And then people going to really see that they need to come down hard on the courts, the judicial system. We need to start attacking them because it's clear that the current regulations they have, the current sentences are not working. The current consequences they're giving these people, these types of people, it's not working. It hasn't been working. When is that going to change? That's my question. When is that going to change? Do we have to come to you every time there's a new predator found? We got to throw it in your face every time? Your current policies, your current consequences for these types of people do not work. It's not deterring them. They are repeat offenders. They're going to continue to offend as long as they're out in public where they have access to minors. This is disgusting, disgraceful. It's going to continue to be that. People are going to continue to lose their livelihoods. Families are going to continue to have to go through this type of shit. And that's not okay. It's not okay. It's not okay. So I'm just trying to figure out what it's going to take. Because this right here is ridiculous. And he's not the last. Maybe I should just keep going live every time we get another one. And just doing it. And I'm going to keep doing it until y'all change. And I'm talking to the court system, the criminal justice system. Y'all need to change this because this is not working with these pedophiles. It's not working. They keep offending. This shit is sick. I'm sorry, y'all. I just had to let y'all know what's going on. But here's another one. And they're going to keep coming. They're going to keep coming, I'm telling you. All right, y'all. I'm gone.